Greetings, Goddess Body Mind Spirit community. This is Tyra Omilade, your Goddess Guru. And y'all know I love helping women align with their life purpose using the Goddess centered lifestyle and ancient wisdom. How are you all today? Thank you for being here. I am excited to continue to talk about what does it mean to live a Goddess centered lifestyle? What is the Spiritual Aspirant Initiation all about? And just helping you to, first and foremost, my biggest thing is if all I do is sell you on, man, I got to start living more in alignment with my divine feminine nature. I'm good. Like that's the mission. How so now? If you want to go deeper, then yeah, you'll be able to learn more about what we offer and you can decide if it's a good fit for you. And so I'm excited to have a friend, a dear sister friend, who is also a student that of mine. She studies with me on a regular basis. I say it that way, although everyone's like sovereign to themselves. I'm not trying to be sitting up high. Y'all know I'm just really particular about that. But she is a student of mine, and she is a member of the 2020 cohort of spiritual aspirants. So I'd love to bring on for you all the beautiful, the amazing, the glorious, the wise, Azizi.
Hey, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you today?
I am wonderful. Hello, my sisters. I see the comments on the side. All right.
Yes, I am so excited to see Cindy is here. Shout out to early lunch, baby. And
Yes.
so is Ashley. I'm so glad you're here, Ashley. Welcome, everybody. Felicia's in the house. Welcome, welcome. So, yeah, Zizi, thank you for being here. I'm going to start off with you because I think you're on your lunch break. I didn't check that out with you. Oh,
No,
you're off today.
I'm off today
Okay,
for
cool, cool,
Veterans
cool.
Day and honoring our veterans who served. Um,
Yes.
now, my computer flashed something that restart was required, so I don't think it's going to be like a. I think I may have to do it, so hopefully it won't kick me off. But if I do, I'll just hop back on.
Not a
If it
problem,
does kick
honey.
me off, yeah.
I got you. I'll
So,
be here. We'll be here waiting for you. We will be here
okay.
waiting for you. Okay, so since I remember now you are off today, I'm going to start off with just talking a little bit more about the goddess centered lifestyle, the benefits of it, what does it really mean? And honestly, I've just been thinking about and look, y'all, I have new layouts. Watch this. I'm gonna talk big and then I'll bring Azizi on in a minute. But honestly, I've been thinking about how to talk about what does this really mean. And one of the things that came to me this morning was the importance of everyone realizing that when you bring the goddess centered lifestyle into what you do, it's not just about the spiritual practice, it's an approach to life. And the other day, I was talking to somebody and I was thinking to myself, it's so important, like something as simple as when you sign a contract, the time that you sign the contract. Y'all know I've been going on and on and on about um, these moons here lately being void so much. And so sometimes when we do things when the moon is void, and my thing is this, you know what? We are powerful beings and we can manifest anything, but the goddess centered lifestyle is designed or living based on like goddess principles, feminine principles, is designed to have us live just an easier, live life with more ease, with more flow. And so something as simple as signing a contract during a void moon. I don't, I understand we need to know that, what we think about, we bring about. If we just believe absolutely things will always go to hell in a handbasket, I can never sign a contract during a void moon. That's not what I'm saying. Like, we understand we're all powerful, but make it easy. If you can sign a contract, and I'm just using this as an example, if you can sign a contract that during a time when the moon is in a sign, doesn't matter what sign it is, just as long as it's not void, it could save you some issues. Now, one of the things that I remember happening several years back was I got a phone call from one of my goddaughters, and she said, "I'm married." I'm like, "What? When did you get married? What day did you get married?" Like immediately, Azizi, I started going into, and I want to get your feedback on this. I started going into, when did you get married? What day was it? What time was it? And she told me she got married during Mars retrograde. I thought to myself, now she knows who I am. She knows how I flow. Why in the world did she not call me? So, Mars retrograde, getting married during Mars retrograde or Mercury retrograde, not saying it can't work. I'm just saying, do you want ease? Do you want flow? So, this particular goddaughter was already calling because she was having problems. Like she had not been married, but for maybe a few months tops. She was already having problems. And what she ended up, or, Mars is like a very violent planet. I love Mars, no judgment, Mars, but it's a very violent planet. And do you know, within 2 years, she was divorced. And this was one of the most violent people she had ever dealt with.
Hmm.
Have you ever experienced anything like that, Azizi?
Um, it's
Or do you know?
interesting.
You know.
I'm not sure. Now, I do know when I got married, there was something going on in my life
Mm,
because I was doing things that were out of character for myself. And I wasn't bad.
yeah.
Like I was hanging out. My mother thought I was on drugs. I was like, Mom, at this place called Africa House, which is this apartment building where a lot of African artists lived when they were in town. And my ex-husband's a drummer. He's from Senegal, West Africa. So I was like, I was at Africa House and I would be there so late because they eat late. We would be over there and they'd be cooking. I'm like, oh, we staying for dinner? Oh, okay. It was me and my best friend. And it would be interesting. I may go back with you and look at the astrology during that time to see what was going on. Because the day after I got married, when I woke up the next morning, I said, oh my God, what did I just do? So I may go back
Yeah, we need to
and
do that, Azizi. We need
yeah,
to go
yeah,
back
let's
and
do
look
that.
at the chart. I
Yeah.
might bring it up today. Do you remember what was your wedding date?
July 13th, 2001, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was 2000. I think it was 2001.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was the same year as 9/11.
9/11.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's no telling what that astrology was.
Yes.
Because that's just 2 months before 9/11, and we
Mm-hmm.
know 9/11 started happening prior to 9/11. So yeah, it's things like that we can begin to understand. Maybe you were in a phase where you were being more free floaty, and maybe logic was not a big part of it. This is what happens sometimes in some of our cycles. And so when you are following the wisdom of your cycle, which is what I'm very big into, then you maybe will say, well, I'm just being free floaty right now, but I'm not making any serious decisions about what I'm going to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's a very interesting thing. And we're going to look at it as easy. We're going to go back and look at July 2020. I mean, 2001. Yeah, 2001.
Yeah,
So,
2001. Yeah.
okay. So, yeah, I think that's really important for us to understand, why are we doing this? What is the purpose of it? And a lot of it is about living with ease and flow. And so I will go on ahead and talk to you, Azizi, just so we can talk to somebody who's been through the spiritual aspirant process. I went through it, but not exactly like you, because as you already know, when I started, the spiritual aspirant initiation as it is wasn't a thing. But what we did was we took part of what the priestesses were doing and we sectioned it off and added some other things to it. And that's when we brought on or created the Spiritual Aspirant Initiation. You are among the first group to go through it without Ea Oshinike. You went through it with me and some of the other priestesses. So I just wanted to kind of get a little bit of, just hear a little bit of your story and just share it with other people so that they see this is real. People actually become graduated spiritual aspirants. So Azizi, tell me a little bit about how did you get into it? When did you start, and what made you say, yeah, I want to do the spiritual aspirant initiation?
Okay. I would definitely say it was after I met you, when I received my leques,
Mm-hmm.
because as you know, I call you Ia,
Yeah.
because you are my Ia. You are,
Oh.
my godmother technically. Um, and I remember you talking about it, and I was like, this is really fascinating. What is this sacred? What is this about? And you know, in my life, I always thought I was ugly. I wasn't good enough. I know people
Really?
always do that when I say that. Never thought I was good enough. I had issues around being worthy,
Mm.
and um, uh, when did I get my like? It's 2019. Yeah, 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it all kind of came full circle. It's like, okay, my ancestors pushed my butt, and the Orisha pushed my butt
Mm-hmm.
like in place, because my grandmother kept telling me, she's an ancestor, she was like, I was like, man, if I had done this years ago, I would have like 20 years under my belt, 30 years
Mm-hmm.
under my belt right now. That She was like, no, things had to come into alignment in order for you to do it like this through these
Mm.
people. I said, okay. um
Hmm.
so that's how I started. When I received my legays with you and Omitosin,
Okay.
my Baba, love him. And really starting to work with you and being part of
Mhm.
the inner circle,
Okay.
and hearing more about the goddess lifestyle, and
Mhm.
having questions about who I am, and finally realizing that I am divine, and I do have feminine divinity within me, as far as and masculine divinity, but
Mhm.
really tapping into that divine feminine was very
Mm.
important to me, and it was something that I think I was being guided to.
Okay. Yeah.
Um,
That's a good point.
yeah, and it just learning things about it, talking to you and listening to you, and there are a couple of videos you have one, the goddess lifestyle. I was like, oh, this is really interesting.
Mhm.
And then I was like, okay, I want to do it. I want to do it. I want to do it. And then also friendship with Abagunde, who's also
Mhm.
a SFM priestess,
Yeah.
and just our conversations. And she would say to me all the time, you are already a priestess,
Mhm.
because of the work that you do. I was
Mhm.
like, oh, okay. And then when the opportunity to do SAI came, I was like, sign me up, because I really felt like I was ready, and I really needed guidance. I
Okay.
wasn't sure what I was getting into. All
Mhm.
I knew was that it was something that was going to be needed for me to continue to grow and elevate as a person
Mm.
and as a woman.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah, a lot of us feel called. We don't exactly know what it is. When I first connected with Ia, it was a very similar situation. I just felt lost after I had Kamau, my second son. I just knew it was something out there, but I wasn't quite sure what it was. And of course, I had been working with Ia. Oh, sort of like you, actually, Azizi. I didn't even make the connection until just hearing you speak right now. I got my Lekes first, and then I was like, yeah, I think this goddess thing sounds good. That sounds like something I want to do, having no idea what it was, but it has made all the difference. It has made all the difference. And so I love that, you know, you were able to get a taste of it beforehand and actually began to feel the difference that it makes in your life and that people can see you. That's another thing I love about the goddess centered lifestyle. It's like we see everybody for who they really are. It's no hierarchy at all. It's just people need to be who and what they are. And so, yeah, we always talk about you being a priestess in training. You already a priestess, you just stepping into it. So,
Yeah.
Now, I will say, everybody, you will not be a priestess going through SAI. Azizi's not a priestess through SAI yet. It's just, we can see she has that calling, because I don't want y'all to get scared like priestess, like I was, Azizi. I got to be a priestess? What?
Right.
Okay, so Azizi, what's one thing that stood out for you in SAI? And I know it's been a while since you went through, but what's one thing that you remember learning where you were just like, wow, wow?
Yeah, I would say um, having the ability to tap into the divine feminine.
Mm,
And I know one thing that really stuck out with me. There's one of the meditations that we did where going into girl, that
yeah.
it was like this portal was open. I got
Mm,
something in my eye. It
that's
was like
okay.
this portal was open,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like it had always been there,
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of like when you're walking around a building that you might work in or someplace that you are all the time, and then on one particular day something is just different, and you notice something that you
Yeah.
hadn't noticed before,
Yeah.
but you passed by it countless times. um, it felt like that. It really felt like that. It really helped me to be centered within myself, or at least the beginnings of it, because
Mm.
there are still times I feel like I'm a wackadoodle. um,
Mm.
Yet those feelings don't last as long,
Mm.
and I know is definitely because of the work I did during SAI.
So when you said centered within yourself, what does that feel like, Azizi?
um, hmm, I'm getting this feeling now of like like the leaning tower of Pisa. You know how it's leaning. It's
Mm-hmm.
like I felt like I was kind of walking kind of like this and
Mm.
sometimes like that, but not upright.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Mm-hmm.
feeling strong, not feeling anchored.
Interesting.
Um, but now I do.
Mm.
Hey, my sisters.
Mm-hmm.
I feel more anchored and more grounded. There are
Mm-hmm.
times that I do feel grounded, but again, it's more. How can I explain this? It's not fleeting. Before it used to be fleeting. Like I would have
Okay.
moments where it'll be like, okay, I feel really centered, I feel anchored, da 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 da, and then you go
Mm-hmm.
along with life, and then stuff happens, and you feel off.
Mm.
I would feel off balance, and I
Yeah.
think that might have a lot to do with my Libra rising.
Mm-hmm.
That I understand now that I have, I understand that now,
Yeah.
and I need to be as centered and as balanced as I can, and
That's Go ahead.
SAI has helped me to do that.
Oh, that's so beautiful. That makes me feel so good, because at the end of the day, that's what it's about. It's about understanding who you are. It's about understanding your cycles, your energy,
Mhm.
and it's about knowing you can actually do something about it. Because at the end of the day, it's easy. And everybody out there, y'all let me know if y'all can relate. You're going to feel like the Leaning Tower of Pisa some days, but you don't have to own it. You can
Mhm.
begin to say, okay, well, it's like a Leaning Tower of Pisa day. It's okay. I recognize my energy, and maybe you just leave it Leaning Tower of Pisa day. I'm just not centered, and it's okay. Or maybe you're like, nope, not having it, not today. I'm going to do something about it. This is what the goddess centered lifestyle is about. It's about raising that awareness. I love that you mentioned that you're a Libra rising, because prior to, and I know we've done other work together, but prior to, you didn't know you were a Libra rising, or did you? Let
No,
me not say you didn't.
no.
Okay.
I thought
Okay.
I
I
was
thought you
Scorpio
didn't.
rising. I thought I was
Okay.
Scorpio rising.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but when we finally got it together, I was like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. Because I'm really like, things I have to be balanced. And if I'm off balance, it's kind of knocks me out of kilter, and it's not, it's uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but looking at things now, like you said, I recognize it because I remember I could feel myself going down this little hole of depression.
Mm-mm-mm.
I was like, okay, I know what this is. I recognize it. Okay, so what are we going to do about it? So on this
Mhm.
particular day, I decided to just stay in bed and rest. And the next day, I woke
Mm.
up and I was absolutely fine.
Mm.
I was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the goddess centered way. That's the goddess centered lifestyle, is realizing you do not have to just take what life hands you. And when you need rest, you take rest.
Hmm.
When you're ready to work, because this is a society where like working hard is valued, you'll just do it, you know? But most of us won't take that rest. Most of us will beat ourselves up, you know? In the past, Azizi, when you had depression, you
Hmm.
may have made different choices. Once you
Yeah.
began to embrace operating from your divine feminine nature and using a goddess centered approach, now you stayed in bed and it
Hmm.
worked.
Yeah, it worked. And then other days, I wake up and I'm feeling like Mama Eileen. And it's like, okay, but I push myself. And I talk to myself all day long. I talk to spirit all day long. I've always done that. Yet now the circle of my spiritual friends has increased. You know, I talk to the mothers all day. That's another thing, becoming connected with the mothers, which was already happening. Even well, I have another friend. She's got a group, and she's an Oshun priestess, and she works with the mothers also, with the EME, and it's just been really interesting how I'm continually being placed in situations where I'm working with this goddess energy, and yeah, it,
Beautiful,
yeah.
beautiful. Let me just take a moment to look at a few. Your mind moves way faster than mine. So you say in the comments, I'm like, okay, let me focus. I've recognized that this is from Ashley. I was off balance. Your videos have been helping me tremendously. Glad to hear that. I've made so many changes that are helping me along my divine destiny. That is the goddess centered way. This is beautiful, Ashley. And I'm going to tell you something else, which is going to lead me to a question for you, Azizi. She said, coming on, and we are a community, whether people are in the inner circle or not. When we come live, we know each other. It's beautiful that all of us are coming on to these videos and we are knowing each other. And so, one of the things that I promote as part of the goddess centered lifestyle, the goddess way, is being in community. So, Azizi, what did you enjoy about the community of the Spiritual Aspirant Initiation?
um I really enjoyed that portion of it because we've talked about this on your lives and other times where we feel like we're all alone on this journey. And as like when we look at the comments and everything in this community, excuse me, we see so many similarities. We see people having similar experiences or the same experience, having the same or similar worldview or mindset about spirituality and being a woman and other things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I really enjoyed it because it first of all, it was a group of people that you were going through this process with, and each person brought um, their own uniqueness to it.
Yeah.
And collectively, we were moving through this beautiful process of rediscovering who we really are
Mm.
and tapping into that feminine energy.
Mm-hmm.
And I met some really cool people, and still keep in touch with a couple of them. Um, but I always feel like looking forward to the time when we can really come together at some
Mm-hmm.
point,
Yeah.
and have a chance to, because we did this during COVID, so have a chance to hug people.
Yeah.
Um, and I will also say, because we are all so gifted, I pick up vibes from the screens too,
Mm-hmm.
from what people are saying.
Yeah.
And in the inner circle, I feel really connected to people.
Yeah.
Um, I'm definitely, because I haven't seen you since my birthday last year,
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah,
Too long.
yep. and that was the last time I had a chance to. I think did we hug or did we?
Yeah,
I don't remember. But
we did. We
um,
had our mask on, but we hugged.
yeah, we had our mask. Yeah, so um, but just having that bond with other people, um, and I'm in a sorority also, and it's similar to that. If anybody has ever gone through a place or something like that, even if you haven't, but I mean, but it's like being part, like it's Veterans Day. Happy Veterans Day to any veterans that are on, sending
Yeah.
ashes and thank yous to our ancestors who served.
Yes, I
Um,
share.
it's kind of like it's like its own sister. It's like its own little
Hmm.
group of people who, I mean, people understand, what's going on, and I love that it's secret because it's so beautiful, the things that you go through.
What sorority were you in, Azizi? Or
Um,
are you in, I should say?
I'm a Delta Sigma Theta.
Cindy asked.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'm a Delta.
Yeah, I knew you were, but I just said I would ask.
Okay, I did.
So,
Yeah.
yes, it is. Well, what Azizi's talking about in terms of it being secret is my position on spiritual initiation. Oh, she's a Zeta. I
Hey,
love
what's up,
Zetas.
my Greek sister?
What I love about initiation, this is my position on initiation, and I would love to hear from you too. Um, is sometimes part of the divine feminine way is you have to want you have to want this transformation, and you have to be willing to not know everything in order to get into the mysteries, because spiritual aspirant initiation is a part of what I call the sacred feminine mysteries initiation process. And the sacred feminine mysteries are understanding, it's divine mysteries that we already understand and know. We just don't see them as sacred feminine mysteries to a certain degree because this society that we live in does not value it. So here we go, Azizi. All the women out there, you know what it means to have a period, a cycle, a moon flow, whatever you want to call it. That is a sacred feminine mystery. How many of us have cursed our periods? Because this
Mm,
is what society has said. Oh, it's bad to have a period. It's painful. Oh, my cycle's here. We just don't honor this very divinely feminine thing that we do. Another one would be giving birth to a baby, breastfeeding, all the things that we know to be very feminine. This is what women do. But it's not always revered or even
yeah,
understood to be a mystery. Marriage, I say, is a mystery. Um, but mysteries and the way you get to the deeper meanings of them. So, for instance, like I talk about women not really thinking it's cool to give birth to a baby. Like, we are in awe of babies being born. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes it's like, man, women give birth to whole other humans. And some women, I saw a friend, she gave birth to twins. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. This is really cool. But there are deeper mysteries in that process. And it's all about helping us to tap the power within. But we have to be willing to surrender. And that's part of what initiation is. Any real initiation that is spiritual and, true, you can't know all the steps. It's
mhm,
impossible. And no one should have to tell you the whole process. Although you can go, look at where you're going to be able to sign up and you can see all the modules that are there. I'm going to tell y'all an overview of everything that's there. I never initiated. I mean, I never pledged. But what I will say is, to me, the difference is there's no hazing.
mhm,
There's nobody pushing up against you. I don't know, Azizi, correct me if I'm wrong, but with sacred feminine or spiritual aspirant initiation, it's just a very loving process. You feel loved
mhm.
on. I remember y'all didn't even want it to end. It was just like everyone felt so good. So there's no hazing whatsoever. Okay.
No, no, you don't. And I just made that analogy for because I
No, it was a
wasn't
good analogy
treated
because a lot of
badly. I
people
wasn't.
wonder.
Yeah,
No, I'm
yeah,
glad you
yeah. I
did mention
wasn't.
that.
Okay, good.
No, no, no.
Because,
It was good that you mentioned it.
yeah, yeah. And with my pledge process, we weren't hazed. So
Oh,
it
good.
was
Well,
actually, ours was really cool. It was actually beautiful. And
and you old school, so I
yeah,
didn't
we
know
were
that
old
was
school.
possible.
Yeah, yeah, we were old school. Well, our advisor was not having it. And SAI is definitely loving and supportive because, it's like you have this group of women who are priestesses who are holding space for you and
Hmm.
assisting you through this process. It's kind of like your spiritual doula,
Exactly. That's it. That's
because
exactly what it is.
Omilada, you are a spiritual doula. I was
Oh.
just reading the comment that Eileen had for you. She's
Uh-huh.
so grateful for the work that you do. Much respect and blessings to you and your family for the work.
Oh.
Spiritual coaching has been a must also,
Oh.
and I really bonded more with you during my SAI process.
Hmm.
I mean, it was now, because like I always say that, when I did my sacred contract before we came down here, we were sitting in there, we gonna do this, we did the DAP, we did all of that, and
Yeah.
and
Love it.
but it really has helped me so much with how my whole outlook on life, and it's helping me
Hmm.
to tweak my mindset, um,
Mm.
to know that, okay, and I'm in the process of another transformation now. I think I think I'm in an eclipse, and then eclipse season starting.
Hmm.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, so much. But it's
Hmm.
very helpful because
Yeah.
I remember I think it was during the time of my Saturn return.
Mm.
I was out of my mind. I didn't
Mm,
know
mm,
what was
mm.
going on,
Mm,
and
mm, mm.
I'm so great. Excuse me. I'm so grateful that my grandmother was still in human form
Mhm.
because she helped me through that process. She helped me through another period of time also.
Mhm.
Um, and now she's helping from
Ancestor world.
especially with, yeah, yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah. Eileen and I have been working together closely. And so thank you so much for saying that, Eileen. Um, Azizi was talking about being in a funk, and Eileen wrote, "That's how I woke up in a complete funk and off center, but I fought back today. I was like, not today." This is what the goddess centered lifestyle can offer you. Yes, not today. I'm going for a nice walk right after this live. Very good, Ashley. So I love that the goddess centered lifestyle, part of what we do is we walk aware. We walk aware, and I will start sounding like I just need to accept I'm going to sound like a broken record. Even I have to have these reminders, Azizi. I am not free just because I'm a priestess. I'm twice initiated. I like saying I'm twice initiated priestess, okay? I have worked with the best Oceanique. And guess what? I have to wake up and look at my astrology every day. Yesterday, I was like, what the world is going on? I feel so grumpy. I was like, oh, okay, it's the astrology. So I just need to take some deep breaths, right? So this is the goddess centered lifestyle doesn't say you're not going to go through. We're going to go through. But what it does do is it helps us to not feel like we have to just accept I'm grumpy. We can do something about it. We can alleviate it. If even if we can't fully get rid of things, we can alleviate it. And so, Eileen says again, I heard a voice say, depression is here. I sent it away. This is what we do.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we do. It's like, you know what? A lot of us have been depressed. I've lived most of my life depressed and could easily fall back into daily depression every day. I've only been delivered from depression in the last maybe year. It was actually being off and being away with this pandemic and taking care of myself that I finally was like, oh, I'm not depressed every day of my life anymore. But what I always did, how did I keep going? How did I keep showing up, making YouTube videos? How did I decide last year I'm going to do SAI, Spiritual Aspirant Initiation, even though I've never done it without my godmother? I just said I'm gonna just keep doing my spiritual practices and I'm gonna keep working until I feel confident enough to make the freaking offer. And I had sweat under my arms. You know how I always say I had sweaty armpits. I had sweat popping out on my head. I was like freaking out, like, I'm not sure if I can do this. And this is many things that I have done where I'm just like, I'm not sure, but I just feel like it's calling me. And everything is saying, girl, stay safe, don't do it. But the goddess
Mhm.
centered lifestyle makes you say, I'm not going to be denied my destiny. I'll tap, I'll do a reading. Going back to the community piece, I will contact a sister and say,
Mhm.
hey, I'm having a rough time. I feel like this is my destiny, but I'm having a rough time moving in that direction. I just need to talk to somebody about it. And so last year, I put it out there and I did it. And so that was a big thing for me last year, doing the SAI. I'm happy I
Mhm.
did it because here I am back now, better than ever, stronger, baby,
Right, right,
stronger than ever. And I got Azizi on screen with me.
right.
Azizi
I'm
wasn't
so
on screen with
glad.
me last year.
No, I was not. And I tell people, you've been dragging me kicking and screaming through this.
I have been dragging your butt, kicking and screaming.
Oh my gosh,
I'm
so
going to
much
keep doing
so.
it too.
Yes, yes, because I know Mama Bessie talks to you too. That's another thing. It's so interesting. My grandmother reaches out to her, and I know that my grandmother would have been like in her human voice. She would have been like so excited about this,
Yeah.
and she would be like, "When is she coming for me to meet her?"
Oh.
So yeah, yeah.
So Grandma Bessie, everybody, is everybody's ancestor. She's one of the community ancestors. So if your grandma and your mama don't want you doing this, just call on Mama Bessie. She'll
Mhm.
support you in your whatever your goddess centered lifestyle is, or Mama Bessie, she's our ancestor that's like, girl, go on ahead and do this thing. Go on ahead and
Right.
do this
And
thing.
she was like that in life too. You know,
Okay.
she was like that person. Like she would be in the grocery store and people would be talking to her. She urged so many people to go to school, to get
Oh,
certifications, to do all
yeah.
kind of stuff. Just
Yeah.
a conversation. Sometimes she would see them and she's like, when they graduate, they invite her to graduations, all that kind of stuff. She's so
I love it.
she was that person. She was that person.
Yeah, that's one thing. Actually, I'm glad we're talking about this. Actually, one of the concepts for the goddess centered lifestyle, hence spiritual aspirant initiation, that we emphasize is working with the ancestors. So yeah, definitely connecting with the ancestors, understanding your ancestors. A lot of us are having to do healing work on behalf of our ancestors. I don't think people all the time understand just how much our ancestral lineage has something to do with what's going on in our lives. It could be something positive, it could be something negative, it could be something that helps us, it may be something that hinders us. But make no mistake about it, people need to understand that we need to work with our ancestors and we need to find a way to work with our ancestors that works for you, where you're actually getting results. And not everybody's initiated into EFI. Not even everybody who's watching this video even really knows what EFI is, but everybody got ancestors. And so one of the things that I love about the goddess centered lifestyle is we get to decide how we're going to work with our ancestors, and we make a commitment. We make a commitment to work with our ancestors because they want to help us. And some of us are not utilizing it. Our ancestors are like, I would help her, but she just, she's not listening. Another reason to work with the ancestors would be that we want to uh, begin to understand what part of the ancestral lineage do we need to heal. Now, speaking as African American, probably anybody in the African diaspora, we need to really work on healing our ancestors because of the trauma that so many of them experienced. We also need to work with our ancestors because not all of our ancestors were slaves. Okay, it's some
Mhm.
ancient ones back there. Um, but it doesn't matter anyone's ethnicity. Everyone should be working with their ancestors, because then another reason to work with your ancestors would be, what part of the lineage are you picking up? Are you bringing honor to your ancestors? Don't get me started on the ancestors is easy because, honey, girl. Okay, so
Right.
Nia says becoming connected to the mother saved my life in 2015. It's real.
That's real
Working with the
talk.
mothers is
Yeah.
real. What were you going to say something, Azizi? I'm sorry.
No, I said that's real talk. And can I just say something real quick?
Hmm.
You would not have known last year when we were going through this that this was her first time.
Really?
I'll
Ah.
just say that. Yeah, you would have never known.
Well, the good news is I've worked so much with my godmother. So
Yeah,
yeah,
she's
working with
great.
Oceanike, you learn a lot. There's so much beauty in the sacred secrets, better known as the occult, and Yamaja has truly cradled me in the art of mystery. It has always been a part of me, and I love not knowing. Very good, Nia. I'm telling you,
Mm,
it's important to not
awesome.
know everything
Mm,
because if you know, how you going to figure out something that you don't know? Someone said the other day, and one in a training I took, honestly, sometimes when we learn things, it puts us in a box. It kind of limits us. And so the more we can just be open to, I'm just here to learn. I'm here to get whatever's for me. You're going to open yourself to a possibility that is
mhm.
beyond. So let me ask you this, is easy. And I know I'm sort of putting you on the spot because I didn't tell you I was going to ask you this, but was there something that came to you where you were like, well, you said this already. You already said this. The portal was there. I
Mhm.
just didn't see it.
Mhm.
And this was by you just saying, I don't know what the spiritual aspirant initiation is. I just know I hear the call.
Right.
And there you found the portal
Mhm.
that was always there, but you had not yet seen it. This is what it is to step onto an initiatory path. Another thing, too, Azizi, that I want to speak to is, um, there's a lot of people out here offering spiritual opportunities for people. I'm very spoiled because I work with Oceanike. And I'm going to say it this way, but I say it humbly and I say it as honoring everyone in the way that they do it. But my thing is Oceanike does real initiation. Like when you finish, you different and you're better. You're
Mm.
not constantly having, like, she's like cultivating in us, or, hey, I want you to walk in your power. I want you to understand what your gifts are. And please, by all means, show up, use your gifts. And it's like real transformation. I feel different. And so that's what I offer to everybody. This is not something that is like you're just going to kind of come through, read a few things, and then it's like, oh, you now are, a little bit more spiritually. Because a lot of y'all might know quite a bit of what's in here. But the question is, if your life isn't different as a result of what you know, then do you really know it? And maybe you need some support. Maybe the community piece is missing because we don't have any accountability out here in these spiritual streets. A lot of us are like, no, I'm not trying to be a part of religion. But you need some accountability. And so what's your thought on the feeling the realness of it versus it just sort of being something where you just sort of learn something new? It's easy.
Um, yeah, it's just like what you just said. You feel different, and because when as I was going through it, there was certain things I was like, I already know this. I know this. I know this, and it's just that. I mean, there's still things that I haven't put into practice. Um, Yet you also learn to give yourself ease and grace, and to
Ashe.
be kind with yourself, and it's a
Mm-hmm.
process.
Mm-hmm.
And when compared to some other people that are doing spiritual work, um, because I know people who have been practicing Ifa for decades, and when
Mm-hmm.
I see them, I don't see any difference,
Yeah.
none.
Yeah.
So, and then they want to stand over me, and it's like, well, where you get your, oh, hold up, how is your life different from
But
when
you
we were
say,
in
hold
college?
up.
Yeah, see, that part has helped me. Has been, coming up. My uh, my strong divine feminine self. Um, you know, and you start seeing that. It's like, okay, well, I don't see much difference.
Yeah.
You still out here doing X, Y, and Z. You
Mm-hmm.
still out here, you know, talking about whatever.
Yeah.
Um, and one thing I can say, people can see a difference in me.
Mm.
Several of my friends were like, "You look different."
Wow.
Yeah, one of my best friends, He's a guy. My
Mhm.
best friend is a dude, and we talk all the time. And when I
Mhm.
was going through, actually going through SAI and finishing up, he was like, I can hear a difference
Mhm.
because we hadn't seen each other. We had only been talking on the phone. He said, I could hear a difference. And then when he saw me, his wife even commented, it's like, you look so good.
Mm. Yeah.
I was like, thank you. I said, it's
Yeah.
spiritual work.
Yeah.
It's a spiritual work.
Yeah, it makes a difference. And that's something that's important to me is that people do not leave the same way. Now, at the end of the day, one of the reasons Azizi's on here is because Azizi was all in. Azizi was doing her work. She was showing up. I never wondered, is Azizi going to be there or not? Because there's meetings that we have. Um, and so Azizi was all in. She was all in. And that is one of the messages that I do want to offer to people. And that is, if you want to do the work on your life, if you're willing to do the work, and Eileen is another example of this, if you are willing to do the work, the sacred feminine, the spiritual aspirant initiation, working with the goddess centered lifestyle, and me, we are like chief support teams for you, chief support teams, along with the ancient mothers, the divine feminine energies that we connect with when we, start this process. When you start stepping firmly onto your spiritual path, there are the divinely feminine energies on the other side. There is a lot of, you know, before I started really getting serious about, working on my business, I never heard this word woo woo. Like this is what, ooh, it's a bunch of woo. So yeah, this is a bunch of woo, but let me tell you, it's good woo. Okay, it's a bunch of woo, but it's good woo, and I just think that all the logic, all the hard work, all the way that we live in our life right now, where is it getting us? Okay, and so
Yeah, you're
that's
breaking up. You were breaking up a little bit. We heard most of it,
oh,
but
okay,
okay, looks like it's good now. I
oh,
think.
okay, good, good, good. Was the
Oh wait a
screen
minute, it's
sort of
still
messed up?
doing it.
Really? Maybe it's you, Azizi.
It
Everybody
might
else,
be me.
let me know because I don't see anything.
Okay, it might be
Oh,
me.
hello, Deva. Yes. I am 35 now, but I discovered Tyra in my early 20s. The seed for me to participate in SAI was planted over a decade ago. Yeah. She caught me in my early days, baby, of my SFM priestess initiation. Yeah, let me know if y'all can hear me or not. Thank you, Felicia. And Eileen said, yes, I'm different for sure. Just my daily response to life all around is different. Okay. Yeah, I think it was you, Azizi.
Okay. Okay. I can see my little box was blinking. I think
Okay.
I'm gonna reset it
Okay.
when we get off.
Okay. Just my daily
Okay.
response to life all around is different. My perspective is different. How I deal with my emotions is different. I can go on and on. Yeah. It makes a difference when we begin to work the divine feminine process. It might be something that part of it, you'll feel like, yeah, this is who I am. And I'm going to tell you why you feel like if you come into spiritual aspirant initiation and you're like, yeah, I know all of this. This is who I am. I know a lot of this. Yeah, because you're a divine feminine being. It's in you. This is the divine feminine way. A lot of us get this. Um, but then the other part though is, the it's consciously stepping onto your path. Because like I mentioned the other
Mhm.
day, a lot of us be doing this little jump rope thing. I'm gonna jump in someday, but then, maybe I don't know what happens, but life happens and folks fall off the path. Well, see, when we consciously step onto the path, we say, no, this is how I live my life on a day to day basis. Now, you don't have to live it like I live mine. But I do
Mhm.
encourage you to stick and stay, stick and stay.
Yeah, and that's another beautiful aspect of it is, you know, you get these tools,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can pick and choose what how whatever works for you. And
Yeah.
that's one of the beautiful things about this. It's not there's no dogma attached to it. There's no you got
Mm-hmm.
to do it like this because you see a lot of that in some of these spiritual programs. I don't know, program just popped in my head, but Just some of these ways of life is like, you got to do it like this. It's
Yeah.
like, no, you don't. You really don't.
No.
Um, and you're also met where you are. And I
Mm.
know for me, it was very freeing for me because I didn't have children. I
Yeah.
consciously made the decision that I did not want to have children.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to carry some guilt around that.
Mm.
And because I would see these twins every now and then,
Mm.
a boy and a girl. I was like, what? I saw my, and I remember the first time I saw it, I called my aunt. She's psychic, and I was crying. I was like, well, no, I just started. I felt a type of way, and then years later, I mentioned it to her. She said, no. She said, I think that was your children from a past life who
Mm.
were just kind of. I said, oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
She said, no, it's nothing. She said because if they're supposed to be here, they would have been here.
Mm-hmm.
I said, okay,
Yeah. Not
yeah.
all women are called to birth children. It's
Mhm.
not the pinnacle of the sacred feminine mysteries. It's one of the best examples
Mhm.
of how the sacred feminine mysteries work, but it's not the pinnacle of femininehood, womanhood. The pinnacle of femininity is being who you are. That's the
Mhm.
pinnacle. The pinnacle is to understand who you are and to manage your energy, to take action on your destiny. That's the only thing that really matters when it
Mhm.
comes to the sacred feminine way. Because
Mhm.
those of us who have children know everybody needs an auntie in their life. Everybody needs that auntie that does not have any children. So, because she's going to come in and she's going to swoop in and take care of everybody. She's going to take care of mama. She's going to take all the little god babies, nieces, nephews, whatever you want to call it, to the museum or to the playground or whatever, so mama can get a break.
Mhm.
I love the women who have made the choice. I'm not having no cheering because y'all have always been somebody who I've leaned on. So it's all
Mhm.
good. We revere you. We honor you, Auntie Azizi.
Yes.
Yes, it's very empowering to self coach yourself out of difficulty. It is. Ashley says she hasn't even participated in SAI yet and was able to take a different perspective with a very tough situation and work through it. I'm proud of you, Ashley. Girl, you have been showing
Yay.
up here on the lives. Ashley is doing it.
Yay, Ashley.
Yes. Yes. Well, Azizi, I appreciate you taking the time to come on today. Azizi will just be
Mhm.
kind of hanging with me actually for the next few days. I probably will come back on later. I was going to do a presentation, but I've just enjoyed talking to you, Azizi. So I'm going to come back on later and share just a little bit of, well, yeah, because that I don't like the lives to be too long. Yes, I do. Y'all know I don't mind going a good 2 hours, but I'm gonna make these a little bit, a little bit shorter. Later today, I will send an email out for those who are on the wait list. It won't go out to my main list with a link that has all the replays on it and any updates that you need. I'll just I'll let y'all know when I'm going to open it. Sunday is a really important presentation to watch, the November 14th one, because I'll give you just a little bit more of information about what the actual process will look like. So make sure you're on the wait list. I'm sending an email out today to give you a special all access page so that you can keep up with everything. I would love to have you all join. I would love to have your questions so that, if you have questions, you can ask me. What I do know is that you will finish differently. You will, as long as you do the work. Now, if you don't do the work, I can't make any guarantees. But if you show up and do the work, and get yourself like organized and together, seriously, you're going to be in a much better place because most of us just need that. Well, some of us need the actual, like, what am I supposed to do? I don't know what this goddess centered thing is. Some of us just need the basics, and I got you covered on the basics. And some of us need more of the accountability. And the last thing that I'm going to say is, some of us are called into the priesthood, and this is the first step of stepping onto the priesthood within the sacred feminine mysteries tradition, which means that you could be a part of a tradition that's goddess focused, but not religious, spiritual, but not religious. So yeah, some of y'all here called to be priestesses, and I'm here for you also. But you gotta start down here. You gotta start with this. Thank you, Ia. I'll be contacting you soon for anything. Yes, everyone in the chat, y'all have been amazing. Azizi, is there anything else you want to say before we get off?
I just want to say thank you for inviting me to come on and trusting me with this.
Of course.
And to my sisters, I love all of you. Thank you for the beautiful comments. You guys are amazing,
Aren't
just
they?
amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love this community.
Yes, me too. Yeah, I think to myself, so talking about knowing your chart, I have 11th house energy. And 11th house energy means that community, this is what I'm here to do. I'm here to help build community. And I actually have something special. If any of the ladies who have been in SAI, especially if you work with me, I'm going to be building a community that is better than Facebook. So that we can continue, because that's the piece that actually I want to make sure I continue to cultivate and develop. I do have my inner circle, but then there is this SAI piece over here that I think would greatly benefit everybody. Thank you, Ashley. I appreciate you. All right, everybody. Well, we're going to run. Thank you all so much. Um, I am with Azizi. I honor all of you who have been in the military. I honor the ancestors who served in the military in a country that didn't really appreciate any of us, but whatever. Y'all deserve this honor. My son is in the military. My nephews are in the military. So I gotta honor the veterans and all that kind of good stuff, because this is a big deal. But we also honor the great mother who is ushering in the energy of peace, love, and harmony. All right, everybody. Thank y'all. Bless up. Bless up. Thank
Yeah.
y'all so much. And I will see y'all again later today. All right. Take care.